Welcome to Happy Hour. I'm your host, Lauren Chappell. St. Patrick's Day is right around the corner, which can be kind of a problem for some of you who don't enjoy beer. So today's episode is going to focus on fun and festive drinks with the Irish spirit. That way you can join in all the festivities without having to sip on green beer. So for our first drink that we'll be making today for our St. Patrick's themed show is called the Dublin Apple Cocktail. Basically this is a twist, if you will, an Irish twist on an appletini for those of you who aren't necessarily beer drinkers or heavy whiskey drinkers. So what you're going to need is you're going to need your favorite Irish whiskey, some sour apple schnapps. You can find these at all your local stores, local stores, and then also you're going to want to cut through that a little bit of white cranberry juice. That way it keeps the color of the green, because obviously we want this to be green for St. Patrick's Day. Now this, again, like most of our recipes, are really easy to remember, really easy to put together, and the way I like to remember this is just 2, 1, and 2. 2 ounces of whiskey for every 1 ounce of apple, and then 2 ounces of your diluting liquid, basically so it's not all so much alcohol. So what you're going to do is you're just going to start off with your whiskey. Again, 2, 1, 2. So we're going to start off with the 2 ounces. And these are 1 ounce shot glasses. Most are. You can also get jiggers too, which does 1 1/2. But like I said, any standard shot glass for 1 ounce will do. And there's 2. Right into our martini shaker. There you go. And then 1 ounce of our sour apple. You can either use liqueur, you can use cordials, you can use flavoring too if you don't want so much alcohol. This is just going to give it that appletini flavor, and it's also going to give it the nice green color that we want. So 1 of that. It smells really good too. And again, just to keep with the fruity accents of it and to cut through all the alcohol, we're going to use the 2 ounces of the white cranberry juice. You can also use any kind of clear cocktails that go well, like apple juices. Maybe even a carbonated one would go well. Maybe not so much in a martini glass, but you can kind of mix it up. Alright, so what you're going to want to do, very important, make sure you add your ice. We want cold cocktails. And it also helps when you're shaking it to mix all the flavors up. Give it a nice good shake. And you can already start to see, like, the sour apple is already infusing and making everything nice and green. So we're just going to take our strainer, or you can use any kind of strain. You don't have to have a fancy strainer. There you go. And right into our chilled martini glass. Alright. You get the nice green color. You're still keeping with the Irish theme of the day with the whiskey instead of vodka, but again, if you don't like it, you can always add your own mix to it. And that is our Dublin green cocktail. So for our second drink we're making for our St. Patty's Day bonanza is going to be the Irish ale cocktail. This is kind of a good alternative for something a little bit stronger if you're not into drinking beer and stouts and things like that everybody else will be drinking basically on St. Patty's Day. So again, very easy, 3 ingredients, probably stuff that you already have at home. You're just going to need your Irish whiskey like we used last time, ginger beer, which you can find in your local grocery store. It basically just adds a little bit of spice to the cocktail, and then you're going to want basically 1 lime with 3 wedges that are cut into 3s for the juice. So what we're going to do first is always pour your liquor in first. Don't put the ice in, pour the liquor in first. It kind of coats the glass and has a chance to settle. So for this you're going to want 2 ounces of your Irish whiskey. And again, and this is a good one because there's no shaking involved, just stirring. So no martini glasses involved. Alright, so there's our whiskey. And then what you're going to want to do next is put your lime juice, squeeze your lime juice directly in. That way it has a chance to infuse in the flavors. So we're going to take our first wedge, just give it a nice little squeeze. And I like to do it from the 2 corners and inward. That way you get the most juice out of 1 squeeze. And 2. There you go. And 3. It's a little messy, but it's definitely worth it for sure. Alright, so once you've put your lime juice in there, now is when you want to add the ice. So we're going to put nice handfuls of ice. Basically, you want to just fill the glass a little bit halfway, just so it gets nice and cold. But make sure you leave enough room because we're going to be adding 3 ounces of our ginger beer, which is going to add a little bit of effervescence to it, so it might carbonate. So here we go. We're going to use 3 ounces of this to cut through the whiskey, but also give it spice. And if you don't like ginger beer, if it's too strong or you can't seem to find it, ginger ale is a great alternative. This is kind of a play off of the classic whiskey and ginger, which is just ginger ale and whiskey mixed together. And 3. Ooh, there you go. And once that's together, you just want to stir either with a swizzle stick or a spoon, whatever you have laying at home. And then to garnish, we're just going to take one of our lime wedges that we didn't use and stick it right on the end. That way, if you need extra like acid for your drink, you can just squeeze it right in. And that is our Irish ale cocktail. So for our third and final drink of this St. Patrick's Day segment is called the Nutty Irishman, which is a classic. Basically, it's just an Irish cream, either your Bailey's, any kind of will do basically, and Frangelico. And this is great as a shot. Most people, especially on St. Patrick's Day, just like to do it as a shot, or if you prefer, you can do a little variation and double the volume and put it over ice as a really nice after dinner drink. But for our purposes, we're just going to do it in shot form. It's really easy, really simple. Again, only 2 ingredients, and it's half a shot for each. You just want to make sure you mix them so that you don't get one settling at the bottom from the other one. So first we're going to put our Frangelico in, or any other hazelnut liqueur will do. Frangelico, it just adds nicely with the mixture of the Bailey's or your Irish cream. And again, half a shot. I'm using Bailey's just because it has a nice taste to it, and you can also add other flavors. There you go. And if you prefer, another variation that a lot of people do is they use just a dash of Creme De Menthe. Gives it a nice little minty flavor that goes really well with any kind of St. Patrick's Day drinks. So just a dash. You don't need much. It's very strong, very potent. I can already smell it. And then what you're going to want to do is just shake it a little bit, more like a stir shake. You don't want to add any ice to it because that will, depending on what kind of cream you use, that might actually harden it a little bit and everything will start to separate. Alright, so I just like to shake it, make sure it all goes in nicely. And a nice little shot there. That way you can just do it with your friends, either before or after your beer, before your whiskey, or again, double the volume and you can make a nice after dinner drink. And those are our drinks for today. Fun, delicious, and very easy to make. So go and have a fun and happy and safe St. Patrick's Day.